This video is brought to you by Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, my new book, which is a comprehensive guide to all aspects of music theory necessary for playing rock guitar. From blues to the cycle of fifths, from understanding and using modes to choosing the right notes for a melodic solo, from pentatonic scales to chord construction and keys. It's all covered in a clear and concise manner. With accompanying video demonstrations, jam tracks and tabs, you'll learn to use the knowledge you gain in accessible ways that make sense for less than the cost of a few guitar lessons. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me having a little bit of a noodle around in the key of G major using a G major pentatonic scale, and it's pertinent to what we're going to talk about today because today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays I deal with viewers' questions. So if you have any questions or queries of a guitar or music related nature and you think I'm the chap to answer them, then get in touch. Website address at the top of the screen there, use the email form on the website, link in the description, or get in touch via my email address jrguitartuition@gmail.com, or you can just leave a comment below this or any of my other videos. And today's question actually comes from a student of mine who is a viewer of the channel, so it still counts. And he announced at the beginning of his most recent lesson that I just don't like the sound of the major pentatonic. It just doesn't sound any good. Okay, so we delved into it a little bit, and I got him to play a little bit, and it turns out that he basically was playing the right scale. That was the first thing I thought. Are you playing, maybe the wrong scale? You've miscalculated, which pentatonic is which, because that's something that many people often do. We know that G major pentatonic is the same thing as E minor pentatonic, but a lot of people get that the wrong way around. They think that E major pentatonic is the same thing as G minor, and and kind of get confused that way. But no, he wasn't. He was playing the correct scale, but it just didn't sound particularly musical. He was doing that thing that many guitar players do, which is to, when it doesn't sound particularly pleasing to the person playing it, well, maybe if I just play one more note on the end of this kind of string of notes, this phrase that I'm playing, maybe that'll be the magic note that ties a bow on it, and it doesn't, and so he plays another one. It compounds the problem, because you end up with sort of a rambling, kind of string of notes that just seems to be meandering and going nowhere. So phrasing is an important part of it, but so is note choice, and here's a little explanation on that particular topic.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, the problem, I think, stems from the fact that most people use the pentatonic scale, or get used to the pentatonic scale initially as a minor key kind of thing. For instance, take this little group of notes down here. Okay, that is the E minor pentatonic, and I probably first learned my first lead guitar bits and pieces on that, the old kind of Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, all that kind of stuff, and maybe a little bit of etc. Okay, we all kind of learn this, and it always has a very E minor feel to it, and that's the way we kind of condition ourselves to playing with it. And I've got my loop pedal going at the moment. I'm just about to kick it in, and there's an E minor chord in there, and as you'll hear, playing over that E minor chord with this little group of notes sounds quite pleasant. Okay, so that works. When, however, we start to play major chords with it, so E minor pentatonic is, as I say, the same thing as G major pentatonic. Let me just clear this loop. There we go. So if I put like a G major chord loop into it now, like this, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've got that loop ready. If you're playing over a G major in the same kind of way as you would play over an E minor, it never sounds quite as satisfying as I shall hope if you're not doing it right, as I shall hopefully demonstrate now. Here we go. Hear how that note there, which sounds great when you're playing over E minor, just never seems to work. What you got to do is think about chord tones, basically. If you think about, this note here, it's an E note, and obviously that's in an E minor chord. But it's not in a G major chord, so it doesn't resolve properly. If you use this note over a G major chord, it's going to sound a little bit sort of like it's still kind of hanging in mid-air a little bit. So all you got to do is find the resolution point. In a lot of cases, not all, in a lot of cases you can find that resolution just by going down to the nearest chord note, or nearest scale note, or to the nearest scale note. So let's demonstrate that once again over G major. So hopefully you can hear that just either moving a note up or down the scale just gives it that sense of it's landing safely. And you've just got to trust your ears with this, or learn a bit of theory. That's always an option. Let's take a look at one of the other chords that was in the jam track for that solo from earlier. There's a C chord in there, so if I play a C chord here, let's see where we can resolve it. So you could hear there what I was doing was listening for where the note was going to resolve and where it wasn't going to resolve. Any guitar phrase, any lick is going to be made up of essentially two things, longer lasting notes and shorter notes. And generally speaking, the longer notes need to be notes that are there in the underlying chord. And as I say, you can either learn a little bit of theory. I've done tons of videos on this kind of stuff. Or you can just trust your ears. That's the way around I did it. I kind of learned by ear and then learned the theory that explained why that worked and why that one didn't and so on. But, I'm just kind of testing the water and listening for, which note is going to sound a good one to land on, a good kind of safe landing zone. And it only becomes a problem if you just don't realise that. If you kind of just stay on a note that's not sounding particularly resolved, it sounds a bit unfinished and not particularly pleasant to listen to. Well, not unpleasant, but it doesn't have that satisfying feel of resolving. If you don't kind of get off it and go somewhere else, and you can hang around on the kind of unresolved note for a relatively long period of time, providing you resolve it. It just heightens the tension. When the resolution does come, it sounds more satisfying, but only if it actually does come. And that, I think, is the problem that many people have with using the pentatonic scale in its major guise. The short version is just listen for which notes are going to sound resolved against the chord that is actually happening at the time. It's no good saying that this note will never resolve and this note will always resolve or something like that, because it depends on the chord that's going on in the jam track at the time. So you've got to be kind of listening to the backing that you're playing over, either a track or your other band members, and you've got to be just thinking, is this note kind of landing nicely over that chord? And if it isn't, just have a snout around the scale until you find one that does. As I say, in a lot of cases, it'll either be the next note up or the next note down the scale. So there's a couple of good places to start your kind of your search for the right note. But maybe just continue it a little bit further, and eventually you'll just develop the ear for it. So there you go. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for that solo at the start of the video in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it. Jam track I was playing along to as well, and that little explanation there, all of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm positive you must know by now. It's $3 a month, or about £3 a month, and you get access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. There's usually kind of at least 3 kind of jam tracks tabs and that sort of thing going up every week, so loads to get your teeth into. And obviously I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. But that is pretty much it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about stuff, music, guitars, whatever. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.